So, and I don't want to be redundant about it, but all my profound experiences and extreme situations with these things have been here. And I've been in this area for years, several years now. And this went from hostile, from benign to hostile, extremely hostile, like you're concerned about surviving or getting out of here alive, to back to benign. And that changed. And this is my theory or opinion, whatever you want to say, but I think sometimes in this type of research, people overlook the most simplest things. And I like things simple, not just because I'm lazy, maybe, but because sometimes it's the best way to go. Um, this changed everything. This is the most important tool that you can have in this type of research, in my opinion. I went through two serious threatening situations with these things here, and so much so that I wasn't ever going to come back in here. And my friend that hunted here for over 40 years, I knew they were here and never had a problem with them. After two bad experiences, being run out of here with them, he was never going to come back either. But and I definitely wasn't. It's very terrifying if you see the sight of these things, that they can definitely put the terror in you. And I'm not sure that some of the missing people are, it's not because of a result of that is more than terror. I'm not going to say anything one way or the other on that, but I'd be open-minded about it. There's something not to, you don't want to disrespect them. You want to keep your respect. I made up three simple rules with my experiences here. And this is, you don't underestimate them. Don't try to trick them. And don't disrespect them. And those are serious, simple, but serious things that can make a difference. You don't want to disrespect. I did that accidentally one night in here, coming off with a yell. I went off with it, and it wasn't 20 minutes. That was total disrespect, and the sound I came off with it, which I'm not going to do right now. Glad I caught myself, because it scares me to this day. You don't want to go through that terror that we went through.
What did it sound like?
Don't you dare. That was stupid, just that part.
Yeah.
But that's what that alcohol does to you. I've had a beer, or only a beer. But yeah, so this is oxymoron with this stuff. There's things don't make sense with these things. They're like halfway civilized. They're gentle. They listen. They're obviously highly intelligent. That's why you can't get ahead of them. They're calculating. They're methodical. They work together as a unit, I believe. I've learned all this stuff here, and without going into a lot of detail, this would take hours. But they know how to coordinate. If they got a mission or a purpose, or if they want somebody run out, or if they're collecting food, they've got something. I believe from what I've got out of this. I'm not saying this general. Everything I'm saying is the go-to guidebook. Everybody comes off with a lot of them different experiences, and I don't doubt some of these experiences and claim somebody's saying, though I do have my doubts on some of them. But so this isn't the golden rule, anything I say, because this thing is so speculative, it's so ambiguous, and it's hard to get a grip on this thing. This is one of the most complex mysteries I think anybody could get it involved with on this planet. To say that they're not here, I think that's just spoken out of an assumption from people that are just to be blatant about it. They're just ignorant about the situation, and they haven't had the experiences where they can distinguish the difference. But it's obviously they're here trying to figure out what they are. They're unpredictable. And you think you got an idea about something, and they'll do something unexpected. I could get into some detail on some complicated things I cannot understand how they did. Like I said, I don't want to make this too long, but it's very perplexing, and it makes you wonder, because we don't even know what they are, and I can understand why. They know they're here. I've seen their tracks on at least the 5 individuals, which I think is a family in this area. And,
Didn't you say that there's 2 more tracks?
well, there was 2 more after the event last year. The 4 days everybody was coming in here, and these things got highly agitated. One did a bluff charge right out of that area right there, where our tent had been set up that night. But they were all over the place. They were extremely agitated, stressed out. And I had Dwayne this morning. I was talking to him, and he said I said they were stressed out because of people. He says, well, there's hikers through there, and campers and all kinds of stuff. And no, he didn't think that was it. And I said, no, this is what I'm trying to say. There's no certain format for this, and everybody's got their opinions. It's dubious at best on all this, because I'm seeing it from one side, and somebody else is seeing that knows about this area too and experienced with me. He's got a different view on some things, and it's like, no. He's saying, well, I'm saying they were extremely agitated for the 4 days when all the people were brought in here, Kinsey, Cliff Bergman, and all these different people who didn't even know each other at the same time. That lasted for 4 days, and tracks started being found and everything. So the 2 tracks that were found where you were getting moss at 11 o'clock at night, and you'd seen the eyes of them back and forth, and we checked the next day. 17-inch tracks, some of them very clear. And then there was another smaller size track that I've never seen before that was over here. So that meant there was 2 more either joined up with this group sometime along the line, or they were always here and didn't know it. I don't know. But yeah, so there's at least 7 in this area now. But what I'm getting back to what I was saying about people, these things, well, one of the rules, don't underestimate them. They are so intelligent, highly intelligent, and you can't even figure out how they can figure out things to be way ahead of you, but they do. On the other end of the coin or side, they're very primitive, barbaric, you might say, hunting down animals, hunting down deer, tearing things apart, pulling their intestines out and eating it raw in the blood. And then you got the highly intelligent form where they're sitting there patient and figuring you out. It's like, you know what I mean? It's oxymoron type of thing.
Maybe there are 2 different species.
What is from the extreme, the nice, the bad? Oh,
No. I mean,
that's
like
say my
like
mom
one is a mammal, like what's in the Patterson film, and then the other one is like a interdimensional, spiritual
please, let's stay down to earth
forest
before we
people.
take an acid trip here. I mean, you know, I don't even want to entertain that right now. I'd like to stay a little bit into science. Not that I'm a scientist. I've been notified. You're not a scientist. I accept that, but I still want to go with long, starting from the ground, both feet on the earth. You know, before we go into spaceships and all that. But something I can understand. Maybe we still can't understand it. Maybe it'll take an extreme thing like the woo to explain it. I don't know, but I'm not there, and I don't even want to entertain it right now. But the reason these things were agitated and stuff, they had never had so many people that were here for them. They know. This is where people underestimate these things. I think a lot of researchers underestimate them. Well, that's a mistake. They know who's here for them. It doesn't take them long to figure that out. Of course, I can't prove that, but from my deduction of it and experience of it, yeah.
Well, that's just natural instinct.
Yeah, yes, and animals can, so
Yeah.
that's reasonable. You don't
Yeah.
have to go into ghosts or shape-shifting. So
But it doesn't have anything to do with ghosts and shape
I'm
shifting.
just saying, using that for an example. And anyway, I don't see where you have to go into that right away anyway. There's a lot of things down to earth with these things that make it on some type of scientific protocol. But the reason they're agitated is obviously they knew, because the tracks were showing up like they never showed up. You don't see tracks that often. From that end over there a mile away to a mile to 2 miles that way, tracks that were being found all the way to Highway 58. One did a complete bluff charge, roaring, and came out of there, exposed itself, then turned around and looked like a younger one. Dwayne witnessed all of that, and then went back in there. I thought these things, with all these people that are going to be coming in, would lay low. I thought they would, after it was all over with, the 4 days, the researchers and everybody scouring through here, they would lay low and people would go out of here thinking there's nothing here.